We have not done one of these in a long time. Guerrilla style speculation video. Let's have some fun here today. So, on the subreddit, after the game went live, Total War Warhammer 3 that is, people have already started to data mine and crack into the files, and we get some pretty awesome reveals. Well, maybe reveals. I don't really know what the hell you would even call this. But right here we have what is suspected to be the Immortal Empires combined Total Warhammer 1, 2, and 3 map. And it is glorious. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go through some of the points on this map because we also have an adjoining province list of every single location on this map that was also pulled from the files. And then a little bit of confirmation here from Creative Assembly. It's a loose confirmation, so kind of, I guess, take everything with a grain of salt. I'm going to upfront all the knowledge in this video right here, right now, in the next minute or two. And then you can decide to stick around to talk about the individual provinces, some of the lore and stuff like that. But I just want to get this information out of the way for you guys. And you can be about your day or going back to Warhammer 3, whatever you so wish. So looking at this map, we have the entire Warhammer world. The things that are missing would be Tor Elephas and Nippon over here. But we have Ind, Koresh, we have the southern Chaos Wastes, the northern Chaos Wastes connecting to the north of Nakaroth. We have everything, man. This is awesome to see. So if this is truly the map that we're getting for Immortal Empires, this is insane. We're getting Lustria, the Southlands, just the World's Edge Mountains would probably be right around down here, maybe even right over here. Connecting into the Darklands, the Mountains of Morn, into a much different Cathay over here on the east side, and then that northern Chaos Wastes as it spans all the way up. Norska would be right here because Bretonnia is right here. We have Attilia and Astalia right there. Ulthuan, Nagaroth, and then I'll again Lustria back into a full circle. So this is stupid exciting, right? This is awesome. And if this is truly the map, it's something else. Because here is the province list. You can take a look at this here. We're going to go through everything. But like I said, this shows us that this exists in the game. And this was just extracted from the files. It obviously is not apparent as a Excel doc in the files. These are both two separate posts on the subreddit. And then Creative Assembly on the Discord said this. Pete from CA said, just note that that's a very old prototype version of the map, i.e. Immortal Empires. I'm assuming, I hope it's me that caused the name of it to be Immortal Empires. Puff my jacket. It will be big. Nothing else is final at the moment. So this is loose, unconfirmed confirmation, more or less, So like I said, take everything up to this last 2 minutes, 3 minutes as a grain of salt, but this is huge and I'm super stoked on it because we had a really weird map with Mortal Empires from Warhammer 2 that cut off the bottom of Lustria, that cut off Southlands. It squished Nagaroth and Nagarond and everything like that. We had a weird old world Norska situation. So I'm stoked to see everything kind of coming together as the first ever grand battle map of a Warhammer Fantasy Battle. So this is super exciting. So if that's all the information you wanted, just to kind of find out the cool speculation I'm talking about here, or at least the kind of a loose confirmation of the Immortal Empires map, you're good to go. Feel free to shut the video down. Like I've always said, though, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Even if you're just kind of heading out right now, that really does help me out a ton. And if you've not picked up Warhammer 3, currently right now, Nexus is doing a competition for all Total War content creators where they're giving cash prizes out to the top 5 creators in a kind of tournament. So if you have not yet pre-ordered Total War Warhammer 3, please go ahead and do so using the link in my description. Nexus gives you a Steam key, and Nexus will be matching their cash donation to a charity of our choosing. So if I win, or any one of the placements, I'll be doing either a charity for climate control, individuals on spectrum like autism, or cancer. So feel free to just kind of contribute to the channel and join in on that competition if you so wish. But for those that want to stick around, I want to jump into some lore breakdowns here. Let's go ahead and switch over to the next screen and have some fun, because we're going to go through everything for the most part here. I have a stream in 45 minutes. So if you're watching this after I finish it, come onto the stream and we can talk. We can shoot some shit about it. But we have the combined kind of map here of the Vortex on the right, and then the combined Immortal Empires map here on the left, just to kind of add a little bit of reference, right? So Empire, Bretonnia, Norska, the Balance, and Mountains of Morn are intact in Warhammer 3's combined map, which is very exciting, which you can see here. Now, again, this is leaked from the dataminers, shown on the subreddit, everything like that. I kind of put all this together really quick, so I'm still very excited about it. So I don't know what we're going to do with what they are going to do with Ind and Koresh and Elithis if it comes in, or Nippon, but it's worth noting that you see these like little lines. I would assume that these are actual roads or provincial lines, whatever it is, that would denote that there's something there. And I think that since we can see it down here very distantly in the southern, going a little bit more, the southern Chaos Wastes, it would assume that, you know, since it's not here, there's nothing for Ind and Koresh, but they are on the map. So that kind of leads me to believe that maybe what Andy Hall was talking about when it comes to Ind and Koresh might have been him talking under an NDA. Now that's, again, it's me just kind of hoping. And I think what's really important to kind of take note of with what Andy Hall said is he operates under an NDA. He's been doing this for decades, right? Warhammer came out in 1982, 3, 4, one of those years. And he's been writing for a long time, and he knows that giving a nugget of information can sometimes be worse than just simply denying it outright. So it would be weird of him to deny it outright and actually have it come true, but at the same time, I understand where he's coming from an NDA standpoint. Even admitting it exists breaks NDA. So if this is his way of saying, oh no, it's not there, but it's actually there, it is what it is. I'm not getting my hopes up personally. If it happens, awesome. If it doesn't, whatever. They said that Vampire Coast would never become anything. Everyone always said that Cathay would never become a full-on faction. And here we have Vampire Coast in Warhammer 2 and full-on Cathay in Warhammer 3. So I'll be optimistic, but at the same time, if it doesn't happen, I won't really care. Well, I guess I won't. Well, it's not that I won't care. It's just that I won't be disappointed. So here are the locations here. We have all of Lustria. So for Northern Lustria, we get the Isthmus itself. This is Mazdamundi's start position as Hexawaddle. And I don't know if PH stands for placeholder or not, but we get the Isthmus coast here where Skeggy is, the jungles of Pawaxlaka. I didn't butcher that name, but this is Solastra's start position at the Monument of the Moon. So we have a lot of these start positions intact as we move into Central Lustria. We get Marcus Wolfhart start position at the Temple of Kara, and then 10 and 1 start position at Zlanhuapek. So we have these two in the Mosquito Swamps and in the Creeping Jungle. We get the Guanji Valley, the Sacred Pools. This is a possible location for some Wood Elves in the future, perhaps in Eraloth, who knows? But this is one of the Wood Elf tree locations too. We already see that as part of the campaign for the Wood Elves in the Vortex and in Immortal Empires, right? So we have the River of Querveza, where I swear to God, I read that as cheese for a second. This is Gorrock's starting position at Itza, of course. We have all that. Now in Eastern Lustria, we have Luther Harkin's start position. And remember, guys, these are pulled from the same exact data mining that got the map. So these provinces are what we think are linked to that map. And we have further evidence because there's brand new locations as we get towards the bottom of this document. So Eastern Lustria, again, Vampire Coast. This is where Luther Harkin is. Volcanic Islands, where Teclis is. Star Tower and Fuming Serpent. Just those two settlements. Western Lustria, the Jungles of Green Mist. Again, a possible starting location in the future, but right now I think it was just Dark Elves. I think it's Wellspring of Eternity is just Dark Elves. But Spine of Sotek for Thorek. The Turtle Isles, where Teclis' start position at the Great Turtle Isles in the Vortex campaign, of course, different from ME, right? Which gets me to wonder if they would just keep Teclis there or if they would throw him out somewhere in a different direction altogether. And I think we were going to see some legendary lords, even from Warhammer 3, displaced once we start to talk about the Darklands and portions of the expanded Northern Chaos Wastes. So Southern Lustria here, the Lost Valley Scroll starting location, Colchin Plains for Lokir, the Copper Desert for Khalida starting location, but the Forbidden Isles were removed. It's kind of worth noting about that. The Capes, southernmost point of Lustria, that is there as well. Now for all of Nagaroth, we have Ironfrost Glacier, the Road of Skulls, and the Chill Road and Clawed Coast. The Road of Skulls does not, maybe I didn't put that in right, but doesn't what's his name start there? Tarks the Brass Bowl. Let me know in the comments. I know you guys will keep me honest. But we've got the Deadwood, where Oxyodal start position is the Frozen City. So it's not even just a small portion of that province, right? This is 4 whole settlements attached to the province. It's pretty substantial. The Iron Mountains with Malekith, of course, with Nagarond. Then the Black Flood here with Haggrafe. We had Central Nagaroth here with the Witchwood, the Sisters of Twilight Star position at the Witchwood of Nagaroth, not Laura Lauren's Witch's Wood in the old world. Two different things, guys, just to kind of make that difference here. But again, I don't know if PH is supposed to be placeholder or something else. Obsidian Peaks for it's Obsidian Peaks. That's Tarok's star position. I know. I was like, I know I put it in here. Or maybe I screwed up and put it somewhere else. Like, nope, I'm just an idiot. So Obsidian Peaks, Tarok star position. I'm too excited. I can't keep my goddamn words straight. Eastern Nagaroth for the Broken Lands. Claude Coast we get for Tretch, which I hope gets a move, right? If we have this massive start position that's already a jammed up location, push him to his proper mountain, right? Like, let's get him out of there. So I just, my little hope there. The Doomglades as well, the Bleak Coast for Alith Anar, or if you want to pronounce it by the game's pronunciation, Alif Anar, which I will never ever do. Western Nagaroth for the Black Spine, the Blowing Coast, the Boiling Coast for Kotep, and the Ashen Coast for Kotep as well, depending on ME or Mortal Vortex or Vortex campaign. So interesting to see what they do with him, if they keep him in that location, if they push him over into a possible different Southlands, or maybe even just put him into the Darklands to give some variety of Tomb Kings in that location. Southern Nagaroth, the Titan Peaks for Marathi, then all the Southlands are also present too, right? So this is where we're going to start jumping into some Khemri, some Tomb Kings action. We get the Land of the Dead there being present with Cetra star position at Khemri, the Great Desert and Mortis Delta, the Charnel Valley for Queek star position, of course. Then we get into the Western Southlands where Araby is, so the coast of Araby where Rapunzel is, the Adelan Mountains, the Land of Assassins with Arkan star position at the Wizard Caliph's Palace. So you can see, this isn't just a small little bit. We're getting quite a bit. The Central Southlands here with Emmerich at Kasabar in the Vortex campaign. But it's going to be interesting how they deal with that. Because remember, in Immortal Empires, he starts in the Darklands. Western Jungle for Tic-Tac-Toe star position at Tlaqua. The Heart of the Jungle for the Wood Elf Tree, of course. Another possible start location for any Wood Elf lore they would want to do. Southlands Wood Elf World's Edge Mountains for Thorax star position at Karak Zorn in Immortal Empires. Moving into the eastern portion of Southlands, we have Khalida star position for Liberus, the Mortal Empires, which will probably be where she starts, right? I don't think they'll keep her all the way down over there in a combined map. I think she was just simply there for Vortex, right? There being Southern Lustria. I think putting her in Liberus makes the most sense. And even if we think of that as like a direct opposition point for Nagashazar as well as the Silver Pinnacle, it could be a pretty cool little antagonistic location. The Crater of the Walking Dead, the Kingdom of the Beast, Krokgar startup position at the Temple of Skulls, the Smoking Caverns of Sotek as well. And then in Southern Southlands, we get Queek start location at the Southern Jungles, the Jungles of the Gods, tip of the Southlands at Tor Serpindar, and the Southern Island of the Fortress of Dawn, all present on that map. And just to kind of, page 10, right here. I mean, I don't know if they're going to say it extends out that way, but I believe that this is brought in closer for Mortal Empires map. As we can see, I guess for Mortal Empires it's not. It's just I'm thinking here of the Vortex campaign. So I wonder how they'll kind of make that jump, that gap there. Moving on, all of Cathay. So this is different, right? We have a weird Cathay now in Warhammer 3, but this gives us Northern Cathay with the Gunpowder Road with Nangao and Nanli. Then the Lands of Stone and Steel with Pome, Terracotta Graveyard, and Wengcheng. This is the location in between Zhaoming and Miaoying start position. But then we get the Imperial Road with Weijin, City of the Shudanen, Jadewind Mountain, and Kunlan. Then the Eastern Great Bastion with Turtle Gate and Snake Gate. I didn't see another gate on here. We're missing a gate. But you'll get into this portion down the road and you'll see Dragon Gate right there. So then Western Cathay, we have the Warpstone Desert, Shenyang proper where Zhaoming starts, right? The Wastelands of Jinshen, Zhaoming's start position at Hanyu Port. I'm sorry, he starts at Hanyu Port, but Shenyang is where he kind of, his seat of power is, and he has a lot of lore connotations towards it. So I wonder in a combined map, if they would just place him at Shenyang in possible plans for an expansion of Legendary Lords, Monkey King, or the other siblings in Cathay, and it maybe makes more sense to pull him out of there and put him in Shenyang. Central Cathay, we get the Celestial Riverlands. This is the Jade Dragon Yuan Bao Bo's seat at the trading city of Shangwu. So again, another different location for one of the siblings to start, and that's where the Dragon Gate is. The Forest of the Moon. Then we have another one here for Cathay. In Eastern Cathay, we get some fun stuff with Mount Li, the Sea Dragon Yin Yin's seat at the power of Fu Chao. So again, this is really exciting because it lays out possible locations that we could have more Cathayan legendary lords by just simply placing them in now existing locations. Plains of Zhen, oft chaos infiltrated city of Beiha, or Beicai, I think it is, Beicai. Place of bunch of Zinch cults and the cult of the painted skin there. A big part of the relationship between Zinch and Cathay, and the kind of oft, as I say here, chaos cultist infiltrated portions of Cathay. So I think it kind of makes sense to eventually have, and we already have a Zinch start position in Cathay, but it makes sense to continue that trend. Southern Cathay, the broken lands of Tianli, and then jungles of Qi'an, the seat of the fire dragon Li Dao at Fu Hong, and we know that that the fire dragon is oftentimes in opposition or at least antagonistic relationship with the Monkey King. So that's a fun little bit of placement there. For the Northern Chaos Waste, kind of moving across the map, we get the start position for Skarbrand at Infernius in the Northern Wastes there. That's been kind of truncated down a little bit. The Abyssal Glacier for Kairos' possible new start position, because I think if they do what they do, putting Kairos where he is now might not make the most sense. For Shardlands, we still have Nakari, I would say, and Kadatha would be a good place for Kugoth, which would essentially be like further south and east of where he currently is. Bloodfire Falls, the Cold Mires, the Eternal Lagoon, and then the Plane of Bone. And I might be a little off there on my thinking of where Kadatha is. I didn't. Of course. Why would I put a Warhammer 3 map here? There we go. Yeah, I thought Kadatha was down here. It's actually up here. So Kadatha, while possible for a starting location of Kugoth, it is indeed not over here like I thought it was. So it's further northeast of his current location, but just to kind of, or I guess further directly north of his starting location, but just to kind of make this distinction, it wouldn't be too far of a move for him. But again, just wanted to make that distinction. Jumping back to it, where the hell are we at? Here we go. So Bloodfire Falls, the Cold Mires, the Eternal Lagoon, all portions of the Northern Chaos Waste seem to be a little bit more either expanded or truncated down depending on which one it is. Plane of Bone, Plane of Illusions, Red Wastes north of Cathay, the Eastern Steppes. This is where we would have Kairos currently, right? He's in that Eastern Steppes location. So it could make sense to keep him there. It could make sense to kind of keep him into a grander Chaos Waste conflict, especially if we're thinking about other legendary lords from Mortal Warriors of Chaos, whatever it is, kind of filtering their way into this whole mess. The Skull Road, location of Karak Doom from Gotrek and Felix books right there. The Demonium Hills. Now this is a cool one. We're going to start to get some fun new stuff. So completely new location. Occam's Forever Maze, the Altar of Facades, the Castle of Splendor, the Crucible of Delights. So perhaps the starting location for a Slanesh legendary lord. The Icefire Plains, completely new location. Mount Athul, the Godless Crater, the Never-Ending Chasm. It sounds cool to me for Khorne. Now, at the southeast of the map in the Southern Wastes, we have the Dragon Isles. This is the Malice start position at the Dragon Fang Mount. Again, PH, probably placeholder, maybe, don't know. The Eastern Elven Colonies. Malice start position at the Tower of the Sun in the Vortex campaign, as we saw on the map. Tower of the Sun, Tor Lesor, Tower of the Stars. So I got Tor Sperandor wrong and confused with Eastern Colonies because I haven't looked at that map in too long. The Southern Chaos Waste here too, Demon's Gate, Gotrelex's Glare Lighthouse, and then the Sin Hall Monolith. Moving into the Darklands, I see another bit of displacement here with Zorn Uzkul. This is where Boris Ursus' start position at Fort Drozinvort has disappeared. It's not in this list. So I don't know if they're going to be moving him into the new Kislev, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. The Plain of Drakenmore, the Plain of Zar, which is where the seat of Astrogoth at Zar Nagron would be. The Blasted Wastes, which is important because, remember, if you've already seen the Warhammer 3 map and you've seen how Zar Nagron is, it's a much larger and different province. So this has been broken up quite a little bit here, right? The Blasted Wastes have the Tower of Gorgoth and the Mount Silverspear. And then we get, for the Howling Waste, the seat of Drazoth at Black Fortress, and then the Desolation of Asgore we have for Imric's start position at the Fortress of Vorag in Immortal Empires. So I don't think Imric would start out there. Or, you know, actually there's a possibility because there is a little bit of high elf action in that southern coastline of the Darklands. So it could be a possible cool spot for him. Wolflands, again, Tretch's new start position in Warhammer 3's Realm of Chaos campaign. At Crookback Mountain, which is where he deserves to be. The Haunted Forest, Snick's start location at the Flayed Rock in Immortal Empires. And then the Broken Teeth, Nagash's seat in Nagashazar. Now, a lot of people will bring up a post that was made saying like, hey, here's all the existing factions in Warhammer 3, the faction icons and all that. All of them had actual names attached to them, and there was a little bit of summarization or supposition that, hey, this is the Monkey King's faction, the one with the light blue one with 2 fireballs. It's actually just one of the other factions on one of the other smaller maps. And the same thing here with Nagashazar, where we get the Guardians of Nagashazar, whatever it's called, for this actual faction symbol. So this could possibly be where that comes back into the game in a full wider scale. So interesting to see that all kind of coming together. And they've done that before, though, where they kind of like, hey, here's a dummy faction icon that eventually becomes like an actual like icon that becomes like an actual thing in the game. Now for Ulthuan, 2 new areas added to Ulthuan: Trace, the Shrine of Kronos. We have Tiranoc, Avathir as well. So a further bit of expansion onto this with just these 2 locations. Shrine of Kronos and Avathir. Shrine of Kronos could be a starting location for, oh my god, Core Hill, perhaps. But I believe at this point, they've kind of said that the Make-A-Wish character is kind of Core Hill in the game. The shrinking of Kislev, because again, Kislev has been shrunk down. The 3 big cities, Katarina's start position, those all still exist because they're central to the actual research tree of Kislev. But the Eastern Oblast no longer has the Dukeless Forest. And the Southern Oblast they've all just kind of been truncated down. So I think that what we'll see here is full Troll Country combined with the former Northern Oblast, Kosteltian start position at the Castle Alexandrinov. I think we'll see a possible new location now for Boris in the mix of all this. So I think that that's how that's probably gonna shake out. I've always said that it would be really cool to see other Kislev Legendary Lords, and there's quite a few of them too. So this does give us some different options. Then Black Blood Pass, throughout the start position at Hell Pit in Immortal Empires. Of course, why would he not be there? Moving into some of the newer settlements of note, we have the Barrows of Sulex. Now this is pulled from Warhammer Fantasy RPG 2nd edition here, but it basically gives us a new province for Massive Orcal. And it would kind of change it away from a just single settlement. And it's pretty interesting to see how this works because we see most of the Bretonnian provinces have also been renamed, including Marches of Couronne, Coast of Lyonesse, River of Breen, Forest of Chalon. So we see a lot of that kind of changing here. But the Barrows of Sulex should not be confused with the Grave of Sulex. Sulu, I think maybe actually might be. The Grave is the site of the last battle between the Knights of Sulex and the Greenskin Horde. The Barrows of Sulex, sorry guys, are where the Sulin buried their dead. The Barrows are scattered over a wide area north of the Galoo, some in the Forest of Chalon and some in the mountains of the Massive Orcal. A typical barrow has about 20 burial chambers linked by tunnels, but some are far, far larger. Adventurers claim to have seen a barrow the size of a town within the forest, but said that they were driven off by the undead guarding it. Most of the barrows in the lowlands are now merely empty shells, long looted of grave goods by orcs and Bretonnians alike. There are a few with undead guardians, and these still survive intact. So we see just a kind of a changing of a lot of the naming mechanics of a lot of this stuff. Also, Marshes of Madness. The sunken Karnak is named after Nakara's former name for the marshes when their empire extended further north towards the border princes. So another little bit of interesting kind of change there. We get another thing too with Sartosa. Sartosa's province is now called Pirates Current. Might be a typo, might be not. We also have Albion here. It's got its same 3 regions, its same 3 settlements, with Rakarth and Nakai starting positions in both Conquata and in the Isle of Wights. We also have the Southern Grey Mountains, Scragg's chart position at Gristle Valley added instead of replacing another, and Grimhold has returned instead of Fester Spike. Another interesting little development there. And for the Marshes of Madness, a new Nehekaran settlement might have been added here, as Karanak is Nehekara's old name for the marshes when their empire extended, again, like I was saying before, all the way to the north of the Border Princes. So you can see that there is the possibility for a lot of this to kind of come to light in a crazy way. And this is, again, the extent of Alcatrazar's, the Conqueror's realm. I'm excited to see all this kind of flesh itself out. We obviously don't know when this is coming. Just seeing it is exciting enough, and hopefully CA will start to give us more information on it. Go ahead and let me know in the comment section below what you're feeling about this, how you're feeling about it. I know a lot of people have run into a lot of frustrations trying to jump onto Warhammer 3, and hopefully those will all be resolved soon. It seems like Game Pass has a big issue right now. I did what I could to help out in the morning, at launch on Reddit for some people having some tech issues. But hopefully a lot of this stuff gets resolved and people can jump into the game and get as hyped up about Immortal Empires as I am right now. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.